County Fire Service band preparing the start for this match as Henry, and it is almost like Henry Cooper, Tatana will lead the committee war cry for New Zealand. And the war cry, which was called the Haka, started many moons ago. New Zealand side, who have got quite... They're coming to do it on... Are they coming to do it this side now? No, I thought they were going to come to do it this side. They usually do. However, as they warm up, the Great Britain team's having a picture taken. Let's give you that team, which is dedicated with the local boy fullback. Sullivan, Dave Watkins making his first ever Test match appearance in a Great Britain jersey. Hesketh and Walsh, the half-backs, Millwood, and the return of Murphy at scrum half. And the forwards, Harrison, Corelius, Kuhlman, Dixon, Mantle and Haig, Benyon and Stevenson, the subs. And David Watkins, many times rugby union star, 28 Welsh caps, now getting his first rugby league Test cap, and will probably be the kicker. And Roy Christian on the right, Millward telling them to change round. Referee Mr. Brown. Roy Christian leads the New Zealand team, which is Whittaker. Remember that marvellous try in the first Test we saw. Also a good one by Orchard. Lowther, Christian, Brayton, Williams, I like this lad. Sterling, who tackles all over the shop. Tatana, Fisher, Gailey, Smith, Greengrass, Kriletich, and the subs, Woolard and Robin Orchard. And the wind is in Great Britain's favour. And the referee, Mr. Brown, waiting for 3 o'clock, getting a signal to go. One of the most important dates, 3:15, of course. I'm so used to talking about 3 o'clock, but at 3:15 makes no difference. It's still the start of the match. And away we go. So, Great Britain fighting for their Test match series lives with Bob Haig, loose forward. Mike Kuhlman, remember Mike Kuhlman as a rugby union star. And Michael Harrison, and it's a penalty for Great Britain. I shall give you as much identification as I can. David Watkins in the early stages, so you know who's who. And he's in touch. They hit it. A player's hand, so of course it is Morris Brayton hit his hand, so of course it's a scrum down instead of the kick. Sterling, number 7. Son of a very good footballer. Roger Millward is on the job. You can tell in the early stages what he's after. And he's playing in his hometown, not his hometown team. He plays for Hull Kingston Rovers. Henry Tatana, very musical, this fellow. Good pianist, and they've got a very good Maori lot of singers. Just inside the Great Britain half. So in white, on the right, Great Britain, and the dark jerseys on the left, New Zealand. Millward. Hesketh. A bit of a slip-up. Bernie Lowther, the club that Wigan are interested in, took that cleverly. Tatana, the strong lad. New Zealand looking good at this moment. Not far from the try line, Tony Kriletich. Often terribly important in the start of a Test match to get an early lead, and New Zealand know this. They spent hours last night discussing the strength and weakness of the opposition. Try line on the scoreboard end at Castleford, Walden Road, staging the first Test match in their good rugby league life. Murphy feed in, number 7. Millward in and out and into trouble. There's a chance of a breakaway by Coolman. Coolman likes to run. Rugby Union follows. Will be interested in seeing him in the professional game. There's a doubt who was going to take that. Bob Hayes, really second row forward. Tony Cornelius inside to David Watkins. Leading point scorer in the Rugby League, David Watkins, 7 tries and 77 goals, chasing 100 goals before Christmas. Halfway line. And it's New Zealand, Kenny Sterling. His father came over here in wartime and played football as a scrum half, called Bluey, because all ginger-headed lads are called Bluey in New Zealand. Murphy. Watkins. Halfway line. 8 to Dixon, Colin Dixon. Not come off, but is still in Great Britain possession. Derek Edwards saved. Cornelius, little short one. Bob Higgs in the clear, has got Coolman on the other side. Coolman, is he going to get in? He's got to push him off. He's in. It's a try. Watkins kicking, and he hooks it in. Well, that's a bright start for Watkins. Bloin, no doubt very happy to have got his boot into action. So with the first half just getting underway, the score, Great Britain 5, New Zealand 0, and 5 minutes gone. Well, that was a good start for Bob Haig, who's really a second row forward. And there is a difference between the second row and a loose forward, but he ran well playing a loose forward. Clive Sullivan, 11 tries this season. His battle with Maurice Brayton is going to be interesting. Just as Phil Orchard on the other wing is going to have an interesting duel before the afternoon's out with Joe Walsh. There's a sense of urgency about Great Britain that I can just smell out as a possible something. Murphy kicking. Now this is Phil Orchard, the boy taking the ball. Millwall. The little lads in trouble with the big lads. Nicely Edwards. You can reckon the cheer will come up when Edwards starts running. Colin Dixon trying to make the half break. Lost possession. Kenny Sterling did that well. Ball in touch, scrum down. New Zealand will not be getting any real bonus to win this match. Great Britain are on £25 per man. A penalty to New Zealand. I think probably too far for Tatana to kick. He's going to kick for touch. One of the great Maori players that have come out of New Zealand, remember, probably the greatest that we know here anyway, was fullback George Napier, who also played rugby union and rugby league and then went back to become a referee in New Zealand. Riletich, stand-up half, Williams, Dennis Williams, who I like. Doug Gailey. Getting the ball in nicely, Gary Smith, moving it well, Roy Christian. The sharp, they're very lively, these Kiwis, to knock on. They were very happy on Thursday when they met Her Majesty the Queen in Huddersfield, where they're staying, and chatted about this match and New Zealand Rugby League. We do give a welcome to New Zealand viewers, and they're probably very glad to be welcomed with a penalty. Feet up. Whether Tatana will kick, I should think he'll kick for goal. Yes, against the wind. The referee having a word with Murphy. The referee calling Murphy. Do you see Murphy walking away for chatting, I would think? Well, I don't think Murphy will be lost for words. Tatana, 22 goals on this tour. None more vital than this one. Henry, Henrey. Just a reminder of the score, 5 points to Great Britain at this precise moment. It can alter now. No go. Forward pass. Five points to nil, Great Britain in the white traditional jersey, and there's 10 minutes gone, and there's the score. Murphy going down the blind side. Murphy's not as fast as the young lad he was when he went on the first tour in 1958 and startled all Australia. But that's some years ago. He's still crafty, and he was being brought in to stiffen the position behind the base of the pack when young Steve Nash from nearby Featherstone was taken out of the side injured. He was injured pushing a motorbike, of all things. It had broken down and he pushed it, he strained his back, and he's out of the test team. Just inside the Great Britain half. Mike Harrison. Hull.
Watkins is with him. Watkins is giving it to Walsh. Walsh is in for the second try. Good teamwork. Walsh, good try by Joe Walsh. There was some good work in this. The first man that did it was John Mantle, who went off his left leg and then seemed to get through what looked a defensive wall. Good supporting work then by, it's not Dave Watkins, by the way, it's Joe Walsh, number 5, and in, and there it is, number 5, Joe Walsh. He's only scored 2 tries so far. I should think that this fellow's scoring a try in a test match with so few club tries this season is rather remarkable. But it's a try and it's 3 points and it's 8 points to nil. There he is. Look how Watkins hooks the ball. Shades of the great Willie Horn of Barrow. Hooks it. And hooks it. Well, he doesn't hook it enough. The hook wasn't there. 8 points to nil with around 11 minutes in the first half. This is a bit of a blow to New Zealand, whose approach work has been good. Remember, they won the first test. They wanted to make it all their show today. The light-haired lad, Derek Edwards. I know. After this kick, I'll tell you something. Because this lad's a good full back. He might go the length of the field and score. Well, somebody nearly went the length of the field. Not to score. Doug Gailey. No, what I was going to say, that Great Britain was 8 points up to nil at Salford in the first test, and they still lost. Billy Gorchard.
Great Britain standing well back. Roy Christian, a good centre, good captain, and a nice bloke. Ball back. Yes, this Roy Fletcher Christian, it's quite true. He's a descendant of the famous Fletcher Christian of the Bounty, of course, and he was telling me last night just how long ago it was. Ken Sterling. Well, you get in the facial and the physical makeup of the footballers in this setup. Only Krilitic. No, sorry. Doug Gailey. Krilitic should have taken a goal lost. A bit of... Well, it'll get worse or get better before he gets the other one, whichever you want to feel. Murphy putting the ball in. And not to the satisfaction. However, it wasn't his fault. It was the forward's fault, sticking the foot forward, which are penalties at this moment. New Zealand have had 4 against Great Britain 1. One gentleman from Keighley sent me a programme of the 1907 match that the New Zealanders played with Lance Toddin. 15 minutes gone, first half, 8 points to 0. Working well, Tatana, Hooker, Jim Fisher. This is the position that the Kiwis are very dangerous. Little short, sharp passing. And this is a hard football, a good footballer, Dennis Williams. Just a bit of a feeling coming in. Well, you're expecting test matches. John Greengrass. Third tackle, fourth coming up. Might go back for a drop goal. Sterling, no, he's not the man likely. Fourth tackle. Scrums have given you the penalties. Well, scrums, and we don't count penalties as scrums. We just count scrums that are cleared. Great Britain 3-2 to New Zealand. Murphy possession. Colin Dixon. 25 yards line, and there's obviously something about Great Britain that's just looking good. Tony Corrales to Mike Coolman. They're backing up, that's good. 8 points to 0 for Great Britain. Long way to go though in this match. Chris Escott inside to Joe Walsh. He's a strong runner. Not the fastest. Millward. I think he'd have got it down to his little leg at the bottom. The crowd are beginning to warm to this. There's the front three, the labourers of rugby league football. Murphy, of course, will be keen to do well. He's had a very interesting career in and out of international football. Being recalled, much to his surprise, he was telling me, but he'll want to do well to keep his place for the third test. Nice kick, Bernie Lauder. The hometown boy, Derek Edwards. I once saw him getting clobbered stiff a Wagga Wagga, but he still stood up to a lot of hard tackling. Mick Harrison. Murphy. Corrales. Oh, it's Lively. I'll get Lively. I think Murphy there was possibly kicking for Walsh to take it on the bounce. There is Joe Walsh. Plays for Lee. Ken Sterling to put the ball in from Auckland. One Tree Hill and all that. There he is, Kenny Sterling. Likes to duck. And really, nobody else should interfere with the tackler. It's the New Zealanders are wrong there. Mike Coleman's hurt a bit. His shoulder. Williams. Christian. Morris Brayton. Oh, there's a bit of trouble on there. There's obviously a little bit of feeling getting into this game. New Zealand obviously feel that this is the point they've got to settle this up, and then they can sit back and enjoy the rest of the tour. If they don't win today, they'll have to train like mad every day. The kick didn't come off. Ken Sterling. 8-0, Great Britain leading. Good dummy and run, Bernie Lowther. Two dummies at that point. And at this point, we're getting close to halfway through the first half. Indeed, we've arrived at the halfway mark. And 8-0. 2 tries. The first by Koolman, with a goal by David Watkins. And the second one by Walsh. Well, there's Bob Haig. Bob Haig's got an injured hand going off, and Mike Koolman's needing attention. Now, the problem about this is they won't want to bring on a sub because Koolman here is in trouble. Well, that's Mike Stevenson making his debut as a test player. He's the sub and he's really a hooker. So what they're going to do, they're going to go loose forward. I should think they'll have to put Colin Dixon back. He has played before. And that looks a rather bad blow for Great Britain at this stage. With Koolman's shoulder not good. Stevenson gone into the second row. Can run, can get tries, got 3. A remarkable situation. Coming into a test match. And there's quite a crowd around Haig. It seemed to be his wrist. We'll get you the report as soon as we can. Mike Harrison. Strong forward. Right, might be a good kick. The knock on. Must be. No, he's not getting it. Not getting it. It can't be advantage unless Sullivan had got the ball. However, he's the ref, not me. Thank goodness. Fourth tackle, and I'm just trying to sort out the scrum. Koolman seems to be not so bad again, but that is for Bob Haig. And it's, as I thought, it's a suspected fracture of the left wrist. So I suppose he's away to hospital. Well, Castleville fans who would normally not like Alex saying, come on, Alec, but Williams taking advantage. Just a little bit of loose passing at this particular stage by Great Britain. Just lost their little bit of urgency. And more Koolman tackles and more his shoulder's going to hurt him. Christian. Murphy to Dixon. Watkins is being quiet of late. He just came into the picture then. Stevenson. It's Ali Corrales rather. Stevenson coming up. I'm afraid he's not fast enough to get him, but he knocked on. John Whittaker, the fullback. He got a very good try tonight. Very shy lad, if you remember. We had him on grandstand at the end, and he wouldn't look up. And he was very happy because the team had won. 25 yards line, and it's New Zealand to put the ball in. Millward due for a break on his own, and he's got it. He's in for a try, is Millward. And just as I was saying, he was due for a break, he does it. What a great try by our little captain. Well, good enough that. Well, look. As the ball came out, I was just saying, well, he's due for a break here. And he used the number 4 Escott as a foil. And then he strode out with those little legs. And right over. What a good try for him. And John Whittaker was down. So that's an important try at this particular part as John Mantle gets medical attention from Dennis Wright. £11-0, a useful lead with the troubles that they've got, Great Britain, but it doesn't mean to say that it's by any means settling. Could be individual brilliance to win this match for Great Britain. Wasn't even ready for it, I don't think, was Tony Corrales. Mick Harrison. It's the way you need your big lads in the up front. And up and under. And up it goes. Well taken, Whittaker. Well taken. And he's really a winger. There could be trouble here. There could be trouble here because this is pretty good as Dennis Williams. He's got Orchard out there after him, and Orchard goes like a bomb for the corner. What a good try, tackled over the try line. Good try by Phil Orchard, that two fellas I was talking about, Orchard and Williams. And what a gem of a try, worth looking, right in Great Britain's own attacking position. And here comes this Maori boy, Denny Williams, and Phil Orchard went like a shot. I thought Derek might have cut him across there, but he trailed him. And he got him, but it was too late. What a good try. Watching the kick very carefully, the New Zealand boys. He's pulled across, it's no goal. 11-3, but that's, from New Zealand's point of view, better than 11-0. With 10 minutes to go. First half, of course. I keep looking around the Great Britain side to see if they're losing any of the impetus. They have trained together just a couple of nights, that's all. Going to be a long one by Murphy. The Kiwis will certainly throw this ball about now. That is their strength, where Great Britain's is individual. Gary Smith. 3 tackles, 1 to come. Going to put the ball up with Tatana. Here's ball back. Well, Great Britain being taking the scrums. They've got up to 9-4 now. And it's what they need. With a lively New Zealand side that The football team are very well worth watching. Oh. I don't know what that would probably, what that was meant to be. I think it was meant to go forward rather than a side kick. Mike Stevenson, who I'm sure a week ago never thought he'd be wearing a Great Britain jersey, comes from Dewsbury. Well taken. Going to try and test this young full-back. (11-3) Great Britain by no means in the clear. Tatana. Oh, good inside one to Gary Smith. Fisher the dummy half. Sterling just lets the ball go and then follows anything up. And he's a great follower-upper too. He dives in. A penalty. What do you think for offside? I would think. It didn't indicate what, didn't Mr. Brown. I think he was talking to explain him, but thought it was probably accidental offside. However, New Zealand on attack, losing 11-3 at the moment, but certainly dangerous. Phil Orchard, 2. Krulicic, 13. Sterling, 7. Davis, 6. And a good one inside, which Little Millwall took. Oh, Coleman left it behind him. Extra man here, this could be trouble. He went the wrong way, did Kenny, for once in his while. Tony Krulicic was probably calling for it. New Zealand ball at the right point. Now Sterling jumps and dodges. He gets under. As the tackle comes, he just gets his head down and goes under. Try line you're looking at. Gary Smith. Great Britain in trouble at this point. The leading 11-3, I know. Jim Fisher, third tackle. Well, this lad, Williams, Dixon, stopping. Dixon. Murphy kick. It's very close. I'm sure anybody that looks at the match, as we're looking at this one, that you will think who are the men who can chase length of the field to score tries. Well, we know Orchard can for New Zealand, and I think Sullivan could for Great Britain, and David Watkins could. So at any position of the ground, you're hoping or thinking they may get a penalty to New Zealand. Penalty against Alex Murphy, putting the ball in. His own forward's feet, I mean, and there he is. Very disgusted about the thing. Murphy has been kicking for position, kicked on half a dozen occasions, but Tatana, no goal yet for New Zealand. Scoreboard over in the corner. Tatana hoping to make it into 5 for New Zealand. It's high, and it's over, and it's 2 points. 11 points to 5, and a much, there he is. The Maori musician who did it. And Great Britain have now 11-5 with 3.5 minutes to half-time. But it came off, he kicked completely against the setup. Everybody was on this side, he went the other side. Not a knock on. Oh, this fella's mauling Watkins a bit. Hesketh. Calling in 3 Salford players in a row. Watkins, Hesketh and Dixon. Corrales. Oh, that's twice. Coleman has dropped it. Little Roger who loses his temper. Glanced up at that one. Suppose he's not big enough to lose his temper so often, but certainly a brilliant footballer. His try quite important. Derek Edwards could go now, so could Walsh. There's a cover by Orchard. Lost the ball. Kenny Sterling came in, lost the ball. He does really duck, this lad. You can almost tell he's in when he gets his head down. That was a let-off for New Zealand. Gary Smith. Tall, grey-haired. And from Wellington, windy Wellington. Nothing windy about the team today. Down 11-5. Oh, Murphy let him out. 2-3 had him and 3 let him out. Roy Christian. And they're going to make Great Britain run around a bit. Bernie Lowther tried to do the dummy. The scissors dummy, which great players like Fred Harris and Eric Harris of Leeds could do so well. Sterling putting it in. Murphy thinks it's his ball, and it is. Go the blind side. On the short one to Walsh. That's a planned move. Great Britain taking the scrums, 13-5. It's going to be the important part of this game. They're going to be against the wind in the second half, Great Britain. Can he dive in? He's got to turn inside. Hector's not fast enough to go for the corner. So he had to do the right thing and keep him playing. There's only one more tackle for the 4th tackle. Oh, he lost the ball. And Christian's away, and he's only one man to beat. The length of the field if he goes. Murphy. Well, Mansell passed to himself and he dropped it again. I wonder what's the matter with this. Is it the players or the ball or what? They're dropping it all around all over the shop. Well, David Watkins went around in circles, right back to the same place and goes in at half-time with what an interesting first half. What a lot to follow. Great Britain 11, and New Zealand 5. And New Zealand in the second half will be playing from right to left and with the wind. So there it is. Great Britain. Haig gone off injured. Stevenson sub in. We'll let you know when you come back if there's any more replacement. In the meantime, Great Britain 11, New Zealand 5. There are no changes at half-time, and it's going to be a very, very hard I think, a very thrilling match. And I reckon that Great Britain should take it, but it's not going to be easy. David Watkins hasn't shone at all yet. He's obviously looking for the wide open spaces. Clive Sullivan on this right wing just below us there. You just saw his head. He's a man who could go the length of the field. We'll see who will the kick-off for the second half to see whether the Kiwis can settle this series with a win. They're losing at this moment 11 points to 5 as Murphy takes the long kick. What a run. What a way to start this second half. What a confidence giver that is. Well tackled, Derek Edwards. A brilliant tackle there by that little light-haired lad. Eric Ashton, the famous coach, reckons that Louth is one of the best centres in the game, and it's so right, and it's New Zealand ball. Right, what a start for New Zealand to get into the defensive position that England have got to adopt. Stevenson. Kelly. Great Britain in white on the left. And a little short one and a troublesome one. A very confident New Zealand start to this lively second half. And Derek Edwards had to concede the position. Not a knock on, he caught it before it dropped. Phil Orchard, the danger man for New Zealand or for Great Britain, whichever way you look at it. You see how New Zealand come quickly onto the ball. And of the scrums in the first half, it was 12-6 to Great Britain. 13 to 5. We'll see what Stevenson. A very good hooker. Just a bit unfortunate that Great Britain have got to play two hookers. Stevenson is lively in the loose, and I suppose he deserves his place on that. Walsh. Great Britain without their loose forward, who made that try that you saw repeated, scored by Kuhlman. Got this injured wrist, and a penalty for New Zealand for feet up, but also for talking, and I think it was for Roger Millward, the captain, talking. They do that in rugby league, you know. If they chatter at all, the referee thinks it's directed at him. They've had it. So what a start for New Zealand in the second half. Just to remind you, in case you're wondering what's happened, the score is 11 points to Great Britain, 5 to New Zealand. And New Zealand in the dark jerseys. This fella Orchard's the danger man. Working the moves. Oh, Tatana in for a try, clear cut. Oh, clear cut work try. And Great Britain in trouble with that one. Really a set piece. Henry Tatana. And how set was it? Well, look how much Sterling did with the ball. He gave it to 1, 2, and in he goes. Nobody there down the middle. So Tatana to kick a go with a rather worried-looking Great Britain side at this moment. There's Millward talking to them. What's going to be the changing around? Is Millward, what's he going to do? He hasn't a lot he can do. Satana kicking. 11-8 score at this moment. And it's a goal, so 11-10 with 5 minutes gone in the second half. So New Zealand with their tails really up, playing from right to left in the dark jerseys. And what can Great Britain throw back into this? They've got individual brilliance. If somehow or another they can find out whether this can do it, you'll be able to see just as I will. It's a knock on that one. Billy Borchard, one of his few mistakes that he's made. He comes from Bay of Plenty. And there could be obvious ones about that, but all I can say at this moment, Great Britain 11, New Zealand 10. Kenny Sterling to feed. He put it his own forward feet, but whether that penalty is any advantage, they're offside. They must get back. But a bit slow. Great Britain need a try now, this stage. Colin Dixon. There must be one here if they pass in right. Oh, I think the power is over his Joe Walsh. He's missed it. He dropped the ball. I wonder if we can see that. He dropped the ball as it was over. Limping with it. Just let's have a look at it again. Now, I wonder if Eskers might have gone on his own. He took it all right, it was, and remarkably got through. And then, this is the moment of decision. He's putting the ball down, and he didn't catch it. The referee was right. And back at the other end of the field comes New Zealand, kicking out of trouble. That was a try that was badly needed. As has often happened in this match and in many of the other Kiwi matches this season, particularly the Test, it was Sterling who saved them. Now this is Walsh who pulled a muscle, I think. Who have we got? We've still got Billy Benyon, and then they've run out of players. Oh, what an unfortunate miss there. Walsh is what? Is he pointing to him off the field or what? No, he's on, just limping. Having troubles in the scrum. 11-10. Couldn't be closer. Good Watkins, though. He's gone round and in and out again. Dave Watkins can't get in the clear at all. They're doing some mighty tackling of these Kiwis. Tony Corrales. No, they're on the right way. Nothing's running right for Great Britain at this moment. He'll run right in, will Orchard. They were offside. However, the referee didn't give it. No good me talking about it. But he's offside now. I would feel Great Britain might. They're driving them once. Somehow or another, there seems to be no drive amongst the Great Britain side. They're talking amongst themselves, wondering what position to take and who to take it. They're standing terribly deep. They're backing some behind their halfway line. I don't understand that. Watkins is inside his own half at this moment. Coming up. Dixon. Go on, Dixon. Stevenson. Chance for a try here. Oh, Ciesesca's been taken with it. Aurelius. And then, I don't know whether Dixon, oh no, he's fastening his shoelace, Dixon. Fourth tackle. 11 points to 10. I think that Great Britain are switching the pack around and they'll probably put Stevenson hook in. I would think so, because he's a good hooker. And the referee, a penalty against Great Britain for loose arm by Stevenson, who was indeed, as I suggested, going as hooker. I was saying that I would think that Great Britain could use Sullivan on this right wing. There's not a chance for a run. It is as fast as anything that New Zealand have got, and it would keep it off the strength of Phil Orchard. However, so far it's not run that way, but still Great Britain are leading, 11 points to 10. A good break by Whittaker. Christiansen, a good tackle by Millward. Very good tackle by Millward. Dixon having trouble with his boot. Ken Sterling possibly who's out. Tatana kicking for touch successfully. And it's Ken Sterling who's injured. Way back on the... There he is. Ken Sterling, who's had a tremendous match, tackling everything. 11 points to 10. They came out of the last try, which Satana scored. They came off a move with Sterling, which they call call sign. They've christened the move call sign. I wouldn't be surprised if New Zealand later bring on Orchard. They might bring on Gally Woolard now. Yes, he's going off. Oh no, he's not coming on. The referee... Yeah, is it coming on, Woolard? Christian is not saying yes yet, but he's on now. So Woolard is on, and Sterling... No, he's gone off again now. Now, what constitutes a coming off and a going off? I don't know. But I suppose he hasn't reported to the ref, so... But I wish they'd make their mind up. Anyway, Woolard in. On. Good footballer. 11 points to 10. We're still so close. Could be any moment now if anything can burst. Obstruction, and the referee never saw it. Good footballer, Whittaker. Good tackle there by Watkins. Oh, there's a lot of overlap. And Murphy missed his man. Phil Orchard. And Millwall's doing some tackling. He's running all over the field. Millwall talking to his men. Certainly setting them a right example with his tackling. 11 points to 10, remember. It's a vital second test, is this. New Zealand are already one up. There's a third one at Headingley on November 6th. And a penalty against Great Britain, putting the ball in a chance for New Zealand to kick the goal and go in front. New Zealand have not been in front, but obviously they're going to kick a goal. It's a vital one, apart from the 2 points. So 15 minutes gone in the second half, and only 1 point in the moment this time for Great Britain. lot of penalty scrums to Great Britain, to New Zealand from Great Britain defences, 4 by Alex Murphy. Could be a vital kick, then they're all vital kicks in test matches. Henry Tatana, the score 11-10, they'll go in front if they kick it. Here you go! So for the first time in this match, New Zealand go in front. Great Britain 11, New Zealand 12. Roy Christian said there would be just one try between the teams, 3 points. At the end, see how close it's going to be. He said it would be in favour of New Zealand. Fisher. John Greengrass. Tatana. Well taken by Edwards in keeping the playing field. He's in trouble. He's got out of 2 and he's got out of 3. Dixon. The Catherwood crowd now getting their edge up a little bit with Great Britain behind. But there'll be 3 or 4 tackles every time on a Great Britain player. Murphy, Hesketh. And a penalty for what they call a stiff arm on Chris Hesketh by Doug Gailey. Watkins should kick for goal. This is probably against the wind, but it's worth it. What he's going to do. It's the hook shot. Oh, that's the end product coming up now. And it'll mean 2 points and Great Britain going back in the lead if he kicks it. Dave Watkins, Bliner, Newport, Wales, Salford, Great Britain. Oh, it's not going to carry. No good. Not going to carry. Nothing like it. Dennis Williams taking it easily. And a long wide one which shows the confidence of the Kiwis. Right, taking the ball. Is there a sense of urgency coming back now into Great Britain? There might be. There should be. Oh, now with this sort of passes and dropping them, lost 10 yards with it. Murphy couldn't take it. Murphy was a bit slow, but I think Murphy was frightened of going for it. That referee Brown being a bit keen on him. Midway between the New Zealand 25 and a dropped one. Well, Great Britain taking the scrums, which is the important part now. They've got to keep doing this because they don't seem to be making the break in the loose. Gary Woolard, number 14, the sub for Ken Sterling. Fisher can't get in. Tatana can't get in. Stoked in. Hope he's talking in New Zealand, not in Maori. Mantle hasn't had a run for a while. Needs this forward break, a Kuhlman or a Mantle. Getting really more Tony Corellis. Stevenson. I should think if Great Britain get the ball at halfway mark with 20 minutes to go, they're going to try and work some of the... Oh, really? Maurice Brayton, the winger, who made that with the strength of Orchard on the far wing and Brayton on this. There's a lot of merit in the Kiwi backs. Stevenson the hook in, and Corellius number 9. And if you can get a ball out of that, you're pretty good. Murphy went in for it. Millward. Hit away! Watkins, can he go on his own? Can he beat him on his own? He can't. But the best bit of Watkins so far, and there's hope. With 20 minutes to go, Great Britain down, 12 points to 11. Joe Walsh. Dixon. And the Castleford fans now telling them to really go. It was going the wrong way. Hard ball dropped. I think Murphy was wanting to go for a drop goal, but that was to only be 1 point. Clearly to make it level. Not able to run on his own. A nice shot of Millward. Let David Watkins, can Watkins go? It is a try! Sullivan! Good try! Well, it eventually came to the man. I kept saying he ought to get it, but Millward came back out of this. He did well to get out of this. Watch him come back and take the defence on the wrong foot. Then this long one, which was very well taken by Watkins and very well run by Watkins. A beautiful pass by David Watkins to another Welshman, Clive Sullivan. Now that was a bit of Watkins vintage so far as that was concerned, and now that Watkins kick into the Great Britain chatting amongst themselves. It's his 5th attempt and he's had 1 success. 14 to 12 for Great Britain. This is a day when the famous Watkins boot that has done so much for Salford is really needed by Great Britain. It's an awkward angle. It is not on form today. 4 tries to Great Britain and only 1 goal against just 2 tries to New Zealand and 3 goals, and there it is, Great Britain 14, New Zealand 12. But at least it's all into this last section of this match. Around 15 minutes to go. Just a little look of possibly a little tiredness in the Kiwi side. I hope that's not just wishful thinking, but it's not meant to be. Kuhlman. Ball tackle. Kuhlman, number 10, going in there, former boxing champion. Stafford policeman. Woolard, number 14, is not as... should be putting the ball in, that's right. He's not... he's turning the right way. Oh, the crowd are big groping at that. This seems a reasonable... Great Britain coming up to close the ranks if they can. Millward's having to do a lot of tackling on Bernie Lauder, who's a dangerous man who might get through. Doug Gailey. Well, this was it? I think that it... well, it was a bit high up, was that one? There'll be some argument about that one. Anyway, there's argument everyone, I suppose. Joe Walsh. Well, Great Britain coming back. Just whether they can maintain it. It's only 2 points, 14 points to 12, 2 points margin. And a couple of ripped shirts with Harrison and Coolman. There they are. Orchard. Roy Christian. Maurice Brayton getting the passes in well. They get the passes in very well to the New Zealand boys. A good tackle by Mike Coolman on the Doug Gailey. The fourth tackle coming up, going back for Tatana's kick. And he's kicking well, is this fellow. But it's a restart on the 25-yard line. Well, they call touch and goal. So we'll now just get into the stake of things. The score is 14 points to Great Britain, 12 to New Zealand. And how long have Great Britain to hold on for? 12 minutes left to save this second test, or to keep this second test. And a penalty for Great Britain. And who's going to take it? Murphy. Murphy seems to be the kicker. Not a good one. Murphy seems to take over the leadership, although the captain is Roger Millward. Harrison's had a good game. Using the strength of Coolman now coming back into the match. Dixon. Colin Dixon from Tiger Bay. John Mantle from Newport. Murphy. Corellius. Millward. Oh, Coolman, can he get his pass in? Escott. Oh, he's up fast. Gary Woolard taking over very well there. Great Britain need a try at this moment just to make them feel a little happier. The scrum, we had 27, 18 gone to Great Britain, but a lot of penalties at the scrum. James Williams, a nice dummy. The forward pass anyway. Well, it was a forward pass, but however the referee has given a play the ball. Overlap here. Chased by Estes. This is the danger man. Orchard. He's gone past one. He's the danger man. He's the danger man. Is he given a try? Has he given a try? The referee, they're feeling about. Did he bounce it? It's a try. It's a try. That was the danger man, and it's a try. Well, we'll see what happened right from the start, because it came from this incident. This is how he's going now. Beaten Stevenson, but this is the point that matters. What Edwards claimed that it put him in touch. He dropped, and then well, yeah, complete yourself about that, but I know the New Zealand people were saying they're in front 15 points to 14. Tatana, we've got an injury underneath us. Dennis Williams is the one on the ground. So with the Tutana kick in, this is another vital situation for New Zealand, leading 15 points to 14, a vital shot at goal. And what a goal! And Benyon comes on. 17 points to 14, and Walsh goes off. Well, what a situation here, as Benyon reported. So this put a lot of hope into New Zealand, leading by one try, 3 points. Turner has got 11 points, and that goal is a lot to dishearten anyone, but Great Britain is still in this match. Turner kicking, and kicking well, standing back. Well, we're going to play Benyon has gone onto the wing. Billy Benyon, St. Helens, gone onto the wing. Who can save this match now? Just one try only. Take this. Move it around. Dixon. Benyon, first time he's touched the ball. Just come on. New Zealand's mulling victory at this moment, but it's by no means over. What Karelis is trying to do is take 2 or 3 players with him and then get the pass in. A little bit of personal feuding, halfway line. Karelis to Harrison, to Dixon. Tackling good, the New Zealanders. Chris Hesketh limping, 1 or 2 trouble limbs amongst the Great Britain side at this moment. Also on the New Zealand team too, with Robin Orchard coming on, which a thing I forecast might happen, because this brother of Phil Orchard, Robin Orchard, a big strong player. You remember he got the try that settled the issue at Salford, but this time it's a penalty to Great Britain. The injury to Haig in the first half, and a second hooker substitute is at the moment proving a little bit of a problem, but the worry about Great Britain now is settling down to this move. And it's a penalty for offside, but Great Britain don't need penalties at this moment, they need tries. Stiff arm it was. And he's kicking for touch because Dave Watkins is off form with his goal kicks. With 5 minutes to go, Great Britain to save this match, can they? They've got 5 minutes, 17-14. Plus, of course, plenty of injury, but whether they'll give him Murphy's running back in to trouble. No point in having dropped goals at this stage. Great Britain need a try and a goal. Last bit for Great Britain now. 2 players injured, bumping into one another. Murphy, Stevenson, Benyon, and the 4th tackle. Well, can Britain save it? Great Britain have got 4.5 minutes to get the one try to equal the score, and if a successful goal would be in front. Woolard putting the ball in, and it being kicked out from the side. Robin Orchard, some call him Robert, coming in for this last stages to put his strength to it. Dixon making the hard tackle, but the Kiwis are still keeping it on the fourth. Kick by Tatana. Great Britain now fighting for their series life. The last time the Kiwis took the Test series was at in 1907 when they played at Leeds, Chelsea and Cheltenham. And if they do it at Castleford, then the Three Seas will have a great thing in the hearts of the Kiwis. Going close, Chris Eskers, it's all on this last few moments. Harrison, 2 minutes plus injury time, well, just over two actually. I'm trying to save him some time. Inside, nobody there to go inside. Dixon. And it's the fourth tackle. Well, certainly New Zealand will know they've been in this match, but they're happy to have this situation of a 3 points lead at this time, with the goals playing such a vital part. 4 goals, 3 tries, 17 points to 1 goal. This can be it, can it be it? No, I think it's just... It's not clicking just as it might, but they're in the right position. Millward, there's a lot of trouble there. Can he run out of trouble? He's the man that probably can. Oh, brilliant tackle on Benyon. Billy Porter doing an awfully good job on this. Great Britain still mounting. Stevenson, the hooker. I think for a try! The try. He's not given the try. Referee disallowed. The second try disallowed. Well, see Stevenson, let's have a look again. Well, referee, that's the second try that the referee has disallowed with 1 minute to go. And the score, 14 points to New Zealand 17, and Millward is injured on this side. I think it's Millward. Well, there we've got the New Zealand, I think it's Henry Tatana. And Millward on this. Benyon broke the corner flag as he went over, but however, it's no try. We're back to where we're. New Zealand 17, Great Britain 14. And as all hope gone, New Zealand will start in possession. No doubt they will stick for it. Robin Orchard, the sub, number 15. So with the vital seconds just about going to its end, plus injury time, of course, and we've had interesting situation. You remember Roy Christian said 3 points that New Zealand would win by. What a tipster he's going to be if that stays as it is. There'll be some inquests after this, no doubt. 4 goals, 3 tries, 17 points in New Zealand. Great Britain 1 goal, 4 tries, 14 points. Watkins, can he save the game? Good tackle by Christian. And the referee's going to blow his whistle for time. Going to blow his whistle for time as New Zealand take this series after winning the first test at Salford. They've now come to Castleford and will remember for all their life what Chelsea, Cheltenham and Castleford mean, because that's when they've won the test series. So from Castleford, to remind you of the score, Great Britain 14 points, New Zealand 17 points. New Zealand win and take the series. So thanks for all the messages I've had for this match. Sorry the results possibly, but Great Britain 14, New Zealand